Have you ever wondered how to deal with the two most challenging events in life, love and death? Two themes that, at first glance, may seem opposite, but are deeply connected. In Western society, we are often taught to fear death and idealize love, creating expectations that seldom match reality. But what if there was another way to view these powerful forces? Today, we will explore how Buddhism can offer us rich lessons on how to face love and death in healthier and deeper ways. Imagine being able to look at love fully and unattached, or accepting death not as a frightening end, but as a natural process of existence. These are just a few of the insights Buddhism can provide and which we will discover together in this video. Prepare yourself for a journey that will not only enrich your understanding of yourself, but also bring new light to your relationships and perspective on life and death. Based on ancient traditions and meditative practices, each teaching is a door to self-knowledge and serenity. Over the next few minutes, we will delve into concepts as ancient as they are wise, with a promise to transform your view on these universal themes. Whether you are a beginner or someone already familiar with Buddhist philosophy, there is always something new and surprising to learn. Consider liking the video and saving it to your playlist to revisit whenever you need clarity. Follow the channel to continue this exploration with a vibrant community of spiritual seekers. Your participation not only strengthens our learning circle, but also expands this network of light and understanding. When we think of love, our minds easily link to romanticism and its idealized projections. But in Buddhism, love transcends common emotional dualities. It manifests as metta, an unconditional loving kindness. Metta is not just a fleeting feeling. It is an intentional practice of cultivating genuine kindness towards all beings, without exception. Imagine love as a radiant sun whose shine does not distinguish between friends or strangers. At the heart of metta lies the practice of wishing that all beings be happy and free from suffering. But how to reach such a state of compassion without bounds? Buddhism teaches us to start with ourselves. While meditating on metta, we begin by offering love and kindness to our own being. After all, how can we genuinely wish happiness for others if we do not begin practicing it with ourselves? Over time, we expand this field of love to include our loved ones, neutral acquaintances, and finally, those with whom we have conflicts. This practice invites us to transform beyond the ego and helps us perceive love as a powerful force for building a more harmonious world. When we incorporate metta into our daily lives, we change the way we interact with everyone we encounter, creating a cycle of kindness that spreads uncontrollably. Many have made the mistake of confusing love with attachment and possession. However, the practice of metta reminds us that true love does not seek to control or possess, but rather to support and free. As we follow the path of metta, we realize that this unconditional love can break down barriers and establish authentic connections. Buddhism teaches that true love is a manifestation of understanding and acceptance. In the Buddhist context, loving someone is not just about feeling affection, but extends to a deep desire to understand the other, to see beyond surfaces. When we truly understand another person, we can accept their flaws and celebrate their virtues in a balanced way. Understanding in love is like a peaceful breeze that calms emotional storms. It allows us to see the other for who they truly are, dissociating from unreal projections and expectations. The daily practice of acceptance is challenging, especially in our modern world, where perfection is constantly exalted and sought after. Imagine a relationship where acceptance reigns. Each partner is aware of the other's weaknesses, but chooses to support each other without judgment. This love based on acceptance does not suffocate, but rather liberates both to be who they truly are. In Buddhism, acceptance is seen as a catalyst for a deeper connection, as it creates a safe space where vulnerabilities can be shared honestly. Resistance to what we cannot accept is a common source of suffering. Practicing acceptance does not mean agreeing with everything, but choosing peace over resistance. This opens us up to a true appreciation of the other, reframing what we consider as ideal love. To cultivate acceptance, we can start with a simple exercise. When noticing an irritation or discomfort with someone, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what can I learn about myself from this feeling? This reflective pause helps us approach the other, not with judgment, but with curiosity and compassion. How love and acceptance intertwine in our lives can transform not only our personal relationships, but also our inner world. This loving approach can be applied to our family, friends, and even strangers, creating a positive and lasting impact on our environment. One of the deepest lessons Buddhism offers is the concept of anicca, the impermanence. At the core of Buddhist understanding, everything we perceive is constantly changing. Impermanence, however, is not something to be feared, but a truth to be accepted. When we apply this view to love, we realize that relationships are also transient, an eternal flow of shared moments. Consider how the understanding of impermanence can transform the way we love. By recognizing that nothing lasts forever, we become more attentive and grateful for the present. This renews our commitment to value each moment as unique. Instead of clinging with fear and anxiety, we learn to appreciate the beauty of each moment we spend with those we love. Impermanence teaches us to release control, an act of love in itself. It allows us to let go of expectations and anxieties about the future, adopting a posture of openness to what is. Such liberation can be revitalizing, turning relationships into sources of mutual growth and resilient support. In practice, we can apply the awareness of impermanence in our relationships through simple rituals, such as expressing gratitude daily, savoring the small things that often go unnoticed. A candid conversation, a warm hug, or even a shared silence can become moments of deep connection when seen under the light of transience. By accepting impermanence, we not only connect more deeply with those we love, but also find inner peace. By accepting the transitory nature of all things, it is this acceptance that paradoxically gives us the strength to face life with courage and wisdom, discovering that in impermanence lies a treasure of opportunities for renewal and spiritual growth. At the heart of Buddhist philosophy, death is not seen as an enemy, but as a natural and inevitable part of life. Often in our society, death is a taboo, surrounded by fear and resistance. However, Buddhism invites us to face mortality with open eyes and a serene mind, turning fear into understanding and acceptance. Facing death with serenity begins by recognizing its inevitability. Instead of avoiding it, we embrace death as a teacher, reminding us of life's preciousness. In this process, many Buddhist practitioners turn to meditation as a powerful tool to prepare the mind and spirit. Meditation on mortality teaches us to cultivate detachment, not only in relation to material goods, but also to the identities and narratives we create throughout life. This practice leads to a profound internal transformation, where the fearful ego gives way to a welcoming soul, ready for whatever comes next. This does not mean living without sadness or pain, but rather being present in the experiences of life with a fearless and compassionate heart. By cultivating a healthy relationship with death, we learn to value the present and live with more purpose. In daily life, we can integrate this understanding by fully participating in moments with others, reinforcing that each interaction is unique and valuable. It is also an opportunity to build a legacy of love and compassion, knowing that this is what remains after our departure. In this way, Buddhism teaches us that serenity in the face of death is not passive resignation, but active and courageous. Acceptance of the natural laws, preparing us for the final transition with dignity and peace. Within the Buddhist view, the idea of samsara represents the continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This incessant wheel is not just a metaphor, but a symbolic representation of how our desires and attachments bind us to patterns of suffering. The concept of samsara challenges us to reflect on the roots of our actions and the consequences they bring, both in our current and future lives. For many, the idea of rebirth is a difficult perspective to understand, but we can translate it into our daily lives as a series of repetitive patterns. Samsara is an illustration of the cyclical nature of human behavior and the transformations each life offers us. By recognizing our own cycles of internal birth and death, our habits, fears, and lessons learned, we begin to understand how to break the cycle. Buddhism offers the path of nirvana as a means to transcend samsara. Understanding that our attachments are the source of suffering allows us to begin cultivating them with attention and choice. Practices of meditation, self-reflection, and ethical living are effective tools for freeing ourselves from the bonds of samsara. A practical step to start breaking this cycle is the development of mindfulness. By becoming aware of our desires and impulses, we can interrupt the pattern of incessant recurrence of undesirable behaviors. Each time we choose to act with compassion and wisdom, we plant seeds of awakening that will bloom into a future of greater freedom and peace. The understanding of samsara reminds us that existence is not confined to a simple linearity between birth and death, but is a vast tapestry of transformations. By becoming aware of this cycle, we empower ourselves to make choices that benefit not only our own lives, but the lives of all beings with whom we share this universe. One of the pillars of Buddhist teaching is the interconnection of all beings. Everything in the universe is interconnected in the great web of existence, a principle that, when understood, radically changes how we perceive ourselves and others. This concept, known as interdependence, states that nothing exists in isolation and that our actions, thoughts, and words impact not just us, but everything around us. Imagine our life as a stone thrown into a calm lake. The waves that form represent the repercussions of our actions reverberating through the cosmos. This awareness can bring a profound sense of responsibility and belonging, helping us act with more consideration and love for the whole world. When we cultivate the mindset of interconnection, we begin to replace judgments and hostility with empathy and compassion. We realize that the suffering of others is indeed our suffering. This discernment creates a solid foundation for a more expansive love, where not only our loved ones are cherished, but all beings that inhabit this planet. Our daily lives offer countless opportunities to experience interdependence. We should start with conscious choices that respect and protect the environment, nurturing relationships that reflect the ethics of care. In our daily encounters, we can practice attentive listening, seeking to understand beyond words, rescuing the genuine connection that unites us. The practice of interconnection not only reshapes the way we live, but also how we love. It brings us closer to the awareness that we are part of a beautiful, universal tapestry of life, teaching us that by caring for others, we also care for ourselves and the planet we call home. At the heart of Buddhism, detachment is often misunderstood as indifference or absence of love. However, true detachment is a profound act of loving without dependence or possession. It is an invitation to experience a form of love that liberates rather than imprisons, allowing us to love more fully. Attachment can create illusions of permanence and control, leading us to believe we can possess people or moments. These attachments generate tension, jealousy, and dissatisfaction, sabotaging genuine love. But by practicing detachment, we learn to love in freedom, accepting others as they are, without trying to change them to meet our expectations. For many, this idea may seem strange at first sight. After all, weren't we taught that loving is holding tightly? However, in Buddhism, detachment does not mean inconsistent love, but rather deep love. It is a love rooted in acceptance and compassion, allowing other beings to flourish independently of our insecurities. In practice, we can start by observing our own feelings of attachment in love. What is the motivation behind them? When we find ourselves fearing the loss of something or someone, we can remember that nothing is, in fact, ours to possess. By recognizing these tendencies, we cultivate a space of freedom within love that respects the autonomy and individuality of the other. Practical acts can include supporting the dreams and autonomy of our loved ones without retaliation or criticism. This establishes a love that is not only deeply faithful, but also generous and unconditional. Through detachment, love is devoid of conditions, a gift we give without expectations. This pure form of loving has the power to transform not only our relationships, but also our understanding of what it means to be truly free. Fear is a natural emotion in relation to both love and death. The unknown surrounding both themes can provoke anxiety and resistance, but Buddhism invites us to transform this fear into a source of wisdom and growth. We begin by seeing fear not as an enemy, but as a teacher, revealing areas of our lives that need attention and healing. When we examine fear through the lens of meditation and reflection, we approach a clearer understanding of its roots, attachment, ignorance, and false perceptions. Recognizing these origins allows us to address fear with a calm and open mind. In Buddhism, the process of transforming fear into wisdom involves the practice of meditation. Here, we learn to observe our fears without judging or repressing them. This allows us to explore past memories and projections, guiding us to a place of clarity and compassion. Facing the fear of death, for example, can enrich our present experience. Instead of getting lost in uncertain futures, we realize that each moment is a precious opportunity to live with more intensity and meaning, a practical exercise in daily life to transform fear into wisdom is the practice of mindful breathing. When encountering a feeling of fear, pause and pay attention to your breathing. This simple practice calms the mind, allowing you to see the situation from a new perspective. Transforming fear into wisdom does not mean the absence of fear, but rather a greater ability to live in harmony with it. This strengthens us, enabling us to face life's uncertainties with resilience and courage. With this wisdom, we are better equipped to cultivate love and face death, making both experiences richer and more fulfilling. Meditation is a central practice in Buddhism, offering a space for deep contemplation and inner growth. By meditating with a focus on love and death, we access deeper layers of our being and transform our relationship with these essential themes. Meditating on love, especially universal love or metta, teaches us to cultivate loving kindness first within ourselves and then extend it to the world around us. It is a practice involving repetition and intention, where we sincerely wish that all beings be happy and free from suffering. This not only softens the heart, but opens doors to genuine empathy and authentic connection. On the other hand, meditation on death confronts us with our mortality, an exercise that can be paradoxically liberating. When contemplating the transience of life, we become more present and attentive to the value of each moment. This teaches us not to live on autopilot, but rather to appreciate each instant, no matter how simple it may be. There are several practical methods to begin. For example, in Metta meditation, we can use internal phrases such as, "May I be peaceful and secure," gradually expanding to include others. In death meditation, we may visualize the cycle of life or even reflect on the positive impact we wish to leave in the world. These practices can be performed daily, even for just a few minutes, and are anchored in breathing and mindfulness. Over time, these meditations cultivate inner peace, acceptance, and a true understanding of love and death. The practice of meditation offers us tools to transform our perception and experience of love and death, nurturing an attitude of acceptance and emotional intelligence. In the serene presence of meditation, we discover a calm strength to face and fully appreciate life. Over the centuries, Buddhist masters have shared powerful wisdom on love and death, offering unique insights to face these themes with clarity and compassion. These teachings not only affirm contemplative practices, but also provide us with applicable directions for our daily lives. For example, Thich Nhat Hanh, one of the most revered Zen masters, taught that there is no way to peace. Peace is the way. His words reinforce the idea that true love and acceptance of death are not destinations to be reached, but daily practices. He encouraged full mindful presence and the embracing of each moment as an expression of love. Another example is the Dalai Lama, who invariably speaks about the importance of compassion, not only towards others, but also towards ourselves. For him, compassion and detachment go hand in hand, helping us cultivate more authentic relationships and face death with an open heart and tranquility. These masters teach us that love and death should not be seen in isolation, but as interconnected aspects of the human experience. Their teachings suggest that by understanding one, we naturally deepen the understanding of the other. Love teaches us to embrace the present without attachments, while death reminds us to live with conscious purpose. Practicing these masters' teachings in our daily lives is a profound way to expand not only our knowledge, but also our ability to love and accept fully. A meaningful exercise is to reflect on their words during our meditation practices, using their wisdom as a compass, guiding us through the challenges of love and mortality. These teachings endure because they speak to the essence of our existence. Integrating them into our lives is a way of honoring timeless wisdom and creating an impact of love and peace around us. Throughout this video, we explored how Buddhism can illuminate our understanding of love and death, offering a new perspective on themes as universal as they are timeless. With teachings on metta and detachment, acceptance of impermanence, and the cycle of samsara, we saw how these concepts challenge not only the way we live, but also deepen our understanding of what truly loving and living authentically mean. Love, when unattached, allows room for growth and emotional freedom, fostering healthier and more compassionate relationships. Similarly, by looking at death not as an end, but as a transformation, we face our deepest anxieties with courage and wisdom. Both experiences challenge us to live more consciously, modestly, and interconnectedly. As a daily practice, I suggest you start with small steps. Spend a few minutes each day meditating on unconditional love or contemplating life's impermanence. These practices will not only nurture your inner peace, but also emerge in your daily interactions, reflecting in more compassion and understanding around you. Remember, this journey is not linear. It is a continuous path of discovery, acceptance, and transformation. Buddhist teachings provide us with the tools for a life rich in meaning and purpose, guiding us to a state of being where love and death are not opposites, but complementary. the end of this video, I invite you to share your own insights and experiences in the comments below. May this exchange become a space for mutual learning and support, where we grow together as a community in search of inner peace and wisdom. Thank you for watching this video. Now it's your turn to share. Where are you watching this video from? What would you like to see in the next videos? Leave your comment below. Wherever your journey has taken you so far, it is time to connect with each other. And remember, true wisdom comes from within. Always stay connected to your essence.